Last Wednesday, Universal Technical Institute reported a robust quarter with revenue growth of 12.4%. That came in at $184.2 million. Well, both its UTI and Concord Career Colleges segments did achieve solid growth. And joining me now to break more of it down is the CEO of Universal Technical Institute, Jerome Grant. Jerome, thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
We're happy to have you. And what was working in this latest quarter?
Well, we're seeing a surge, if you will, in the number of young people who are choosing to go into healthcare and into the tech trade areas. There's a lot of conversation out there around the ROI of a traditional college education, and you know, we're just seeing a lot of interest in our programs because of it.
Interesting. Now, what is the business model for your company?
Sure. Well, we run 17 healthcare schools around the country and 16 transportation, trade, and energy schools. Students enroll just like a normal university or community college. The programs run anywhere from 9 months to a year and a half. They leave ready for a credential and ready for work.
Interesting. And what is the demand that you've seen for some of these degrees, especially in the wake of high borrowing costs and high inflation?
Yeah, that's a really great question. Students are being much more practical now about the ROI of a college education, and we like to say there are 3 jobs on the job board for every graduate of our school. So the demand has always been there. Really what we're seeing now is more and more people making practical decisions about what they do after high school.
Interesting. And so if someone wanted to enroll in an institute like yours, what could they expect to pay and what would be the ROI?
Oh, sure. So let's just take a welder, right? A welder, it's a 9-month program. It's about $22,000. Starting salaries for welders are anywhere between $25 and $40 an hour, depending on where they are in the country, and they move up from there.
Interesting. I see net income rose to $7.8 million. Is that correct?
It did.
And what was behind that?
Well, we've put a lot of optimization efforts into place on our campuses. We're trying to make room for more programs, and you know, that's driving our profitability number.
Interesting. Now, it is graduation for some universities out there, the traditional 4-year degree, and certainly a big topic of conversation in the news of late. No matter what network it's on or what publication it's in, is some of the protests that we've seen. And just over the weekend, of course, students walking out of Jerry Seinfeld's commencement speech at Duke University, for instance. Have you found that those movements are happening within your institute as well?
No, they're not. Actually, we have a bit of a different model on our campuses. Our campuses tend to be one large building. People come in and they do their lab work for, say, 3 hours a day, and then they go off to their families or back to work. So they're very much commuter campuses and not resident campuses. We don't have, you know, quads or student unions and things like that where those gatherings happen. So we haven't experienced any of it on our 33 campuses.
Interesting. Now, in terms of how you're adapting to changing trends in the industry and demand, are there changes on the horizon or even an evolution of what your institute would be offering for students?
Absolutely. You know, everyone's talking about AI. Right, and what AI? We see AI as an enormous enabler of the educational process, and so we're instituting virtual tools and artificial intelligence to help students learn faster, to learn more deeply, to prepare them better for what's going to happen when they get out into the market, which is use those tools in their technical lives. So.
Interesting. And what are some of the top skills in AI that you think someone should equip themselves with these days?
Well, we don't actually teach them AI. We use AI as an enabler. So for instance, our chat environments are AI enabled so that people can get faster, more ready access to answers in the classroom. The diagnostic tools that people are using in healthcare and in automotive now use artificial intelligence to more quickly diagnose problems so that technicians can work more efficiently and more effectively. So we're teaching them on those diagnostic tools as well.
Interesting. So is that happening through ChatGPT or through specific programs?
Well, some of it's using ChatGPT for the question and answer portions of the curriculum online, but others are tools, and Microsoft tools in education, and Google's tools in marketing are helping us quite a bit.
Interesting. And how would you advise students and even members of your faculty make sure that there is integrity embedded in the use of AI?
Yeah, and again, we see it as a supplement, not a primary, right? And so there's regular and substantive interaction with our faculty on a daily basis. And so immediacy of answers is great, but there's always an opportunity for them to check what's going on. Also, we teach things that are very hands-on, right? And so the truth really comes out in your ability to put in an IV or use a radiology scanning machine or to fix a carburetor. And so AI is not going to do that, and so you really need to understand what you're doing. And so there's a lot of checkpoints that help validate.
How would lower borrowing costs impact your business?
Not really. We are an accredited institution like every university and community college in the country, and so our students have access to Pell Grants, they have access to federally backed loans, they have access to other mechanisms, and those rates really haven't changed that much. The student loan rates, et cetera, haven't changed that much over time, and so there's a pretty steady financing environment in our business.
What's your own expansion plan in terms of new revenue opportunities, more profitability, perhaps even new geographic locations?
That's a great question. You know, we've opened 3 new campuses in the last 4 or 5 years: Bloomfield, New Jersey, Austin, Texas, Miami, Florida. Even with that kind of expansion, we're really not even making a nick in the problem, which is there is a huge demand for middle skills workers, or skilled college workers as we like to call them, in the U.S. And so we don't have any announcements to make today, but we could see opening new campuses on both our healthcare and our transportation, trades, and energy business in the near future.
We have some important inflation reports this week. Will the cost for students be changing in the future?
I don't see that. I think we've been working on the efficiency of our way of delivering the education as a buffer against the rising costs of, say, instructors and staff, et cetera, along those lines. And so I don't really see any inflationary issues associated with our cost structure right now.
Okay. Jerome Grant, he's the CEO of the publicly traded Universal Technical Institute, joining me here at the Stock Exchange. Jerome, thank you.
Thank you very much.